Okay, what's up everyone? This is Scott here again with a brand new video to help you learn how to trade, invest, and master your finances so you can apply that knowledge in the real world and multiply your money. And what I have here is my last episode of my live option trading series for the entire year. And this was actually a very good week. I was able to take off all my current positions for profit with the exception of just one in Zoom here, which I'll talk about later in this video. And so also in this video, you're going to see me put on two new trades much earlier this week, specifically in Alibaba and Zoom here. These were also the two trades I took off this morning. And then you're also going to see how I took off all my other positions in this portfolio throughout the entire week, specifically for Square, Roku, and Nvidia. Now, as always, before we get started here, in case you are brand new to the channel, I just want to let you know that you can also find me on Skillshare as well, where you can take my very in-depth classes on options trading or stock market investing. And I provided some links to some of the introductory courses of mine in the description of this video below. So be sure to check them out, and when you sign up for Skillshare using any of those links, you'll get a full 1-month free trial. Okay, and so with that being said, I'm going to stop here and play a few clips that I recorded throughout this week. And those clips will show you in real time how I put on my trades in Alibaba and also in Zoom, and then also how I manage my other positions in Square, Roku, and Nvidia. So let's get started. Okay, today is Monday, December 20th, and we're definitely having a very busy day in the market right now. So very briefly, let's come to the charts, and I already have SPY pulled up. This is the main ETF which tracks the S&P 500, and take a look at what's been happening with the S&Ps over the past couple days here. So right now, SPY is down by about $6.50, which is about a 1.4% down move. And it seems the prevailing theme as to why this is happening has to do with the new Omicron COVID variant, but of course, that's only one possible reason. And to be quite honest, I don't really care what the story is. All I do care about is what implied volatility is doing as a result of this big down move. So now if we come over here and go to the VIX futures contracts, which is /VX, the VIX is also an index which will show you the implied volatility for the S&P 500. And in other words, this is basically a fear index. And right now we're seeing a pretty big pop in the VIX by about over 16%. So this kind of thing usually happens when you see a pretty big down move, especially over multiple days in the broader market. When stocks drop, people tend to get very fearful, and that's what causes this index to spike like this. And that also translates to a spike in option prices across the board. When implied volatility goes up, so do option prices, and when implied volatility contracts, again, so do option prices. That's how the relationship works. And so that's why, as an option seller, I specifically wait and get very excited about days just like this. Because now I can scan through my watch list and find a lot of stocks with potentially great option selling opportunities. Now, before I put on a few new trades here, I do want to give you one update, so we'll come back to the monitor tab real quick. And right before the market closed last Friday, I did put on a new trade in Square. So specifically, as you can see here, I just sold a naked put option at the 155 strike. And that's because if we come to the charts real quick here and go to SQ, obviously, as you can see over the past couple months or so, this stock has done nothing but just go down almost every single day. And I tend to be a contrarian-based trader, so when stocks go down, I tend to get bullish. When stocks go up, I tend to get bearish. And then, of course, on top of that, if we come down here to the implied volatility chart, the IV for Square is also super high right now. Now, unfortunately, because pretty much the entire market is down right now, that means I'm also down on this position. So we come back here. And right now, overall, on this naked put trade, I'm down by about $170 or so. Not a big deal. So just wanted to give you that update there. And now, let's put on a few new trades. So once again, we'll come back to the charts here. And one trade I want to make this morning is in Alibaba. This company is basically the Amazon of China, so it's a very large company in the online retail space, and it's also super heavily traded. Moreover, in a similar fashion with Square, the implied volatility for Alibaba is also super high right now at 77.7%. And especially when you compare it to the past, this is definitely still on the very high end for Alibaba over the entire previous 12 months. So this current level of IV translates to an IV rank of 56%. That's pretty good. And also an IV percentile of 98%. Very good. So once again, all this means is the prices for Alibaba options are going to be very inflated for the time being. Now, if we come over to the price action chart and take a look what's happening here, let's zoom in a little bit. The general trend for the stock has definitely been downward, and perhaps this will continue for some time, but again, as I explained, I tend to be a contrarian-based trader, so when I see this stock getting killed over the past few weeks, I do want to get a little bit bullish. And so that's why what I'm thinking here is I'm going to sell a bullish skewed short strangle. Basically, I'm going to sell an out of the money put option and also an out of the money call option, but I'll make sure the delta on the put option is going to be larger than the delta on the call option. And as a result of that, if Alibaba does start to move higher, that will reduce the value of the entire position, and that's what I want as an option seller. So that way I can potentially buy the contracts back for a much cheaper price and then book my profits. And of course, alongside that, I'm also hoping for a nice contraction in the implied volatility for Alibaba. And that's because implied volatility is mean reverting. When it gets too high, what does it do? It comes back down. And when it gets too low, what does it do? It comes back up. Every stock has a unique long-term average for its implied volatility. And oftentimes, the IV does not like to get too far away from that long-term average. So the full picture here is if implied volatility can contract, Alibaba can move up a little bit in price. And then also you always have time decay working in your favor as an option seller. So all three of those things can work together to reduce the value of the contracts I'm going to sell here and therefore help me to make some pretty nice profits. So with that being said, we'll come over to the trade tab now and take a look at the option chain on Alibaba. For this trade, I am going to be in the January expiration cycle with 32 days left to go. And as I said, I'm going to sell here a bullish skewed short strangle. So in particular, I'm going to sell the 111 strike put option with a 36 delta. And then also alongside that, I'm going to sell the 135 strike call option with a 20 delta. And again, because the delta on my call here is smaller than for my put option, that's what makes this a bullish skewed short strangle. So I'm going to right click on the call option here and go to sell and then strangle. And here we go. This is the order. I'm going to sell one contract of the 135 strike call option. And then at the same time, also going to sell one contract of the 111 strike put option. And the total amount of credit I can sell these options for is about $750. That's really, really nice. And this here is why you should always wait for elevations in implied volatility before you sell options. And so we'll try and lock in a price of maybe exactly $750. See if I can get filled here pretty quickly. Go to confirm and send. Buying power effect for this trade is about $1,800. That's totally fine. So we'll go to send. And no fills yet on this order. So we'll come back to the monitor tab and perhaps change my price a little bit. So let's find the order. There it is. And as you can see, my limit price is still $750. The mark price, though, is $757. That's a bit odd, but perhaps I will come down maybe a few more pennies. Let's come down to maybe $745 and now see what happens here. And there we go. Just got filled and price improved to $748. Awesome. Great. And so final step here is to create my automatic closing order for this trade to buy these contracts back for hopefully half price. So there we go. Just going to buy back both of these contracts and I'll try and do so for half price. So 50% of 748 is 374. We'll lock in that price, make it a GTC order so it's always in place, and confirm and send. All done. Awesome. So next up, let's come back to the charts and we'll take a look at ZM, which is Zoom. As you can see, this stock is only up by a very small amount, only by about $1 or so, but the implied volatility down here is showing a very nice spike. Of course, along with most stocks in the market right now. So the IV for Zoom is currently at 67%, and this translates to an IV rank of 70%, very good, and also an IV percentile of 85%, very, very good. Now in terms of the charts, let's take a look at what's going on here. Let's zoom in. So a pretty similar story. The stock has definitely gotten killed over the past few weeks and also the past few months, and perhaps what we're seeing here is the beginning of a short-term rally in the stock price. This line in blue is the 20-period moving average, which definitely can act as a resistance level, as you can see right here in this zone, and also pretty much for the entirety of this huge down move over 1, 2, 3 months. But then as you can see right here, where Zoom finally broke above the 20-period moving average, it did come down a little bit to test that point and then bounced right off it. So again, perhaps that's exactly what's happening right here. Zoom finally broke above the 20-period moving average. Now it's coming down a little bit to just test that level. And maybe over the next few days, we'll see another short-term bounce in the stock price. So with that said, we'll come over to the trade tab now and take a look at the option chain for Zoom. And for this trade here, I'm just going to sell a simple naked put option. I don't mind being a lot more bullish on this stock. So for this trade, I'm going to sell the 187.5 strike put option with a 31 delta. So I'll go ahead and click on the bid price here. That brings up the sell order down below. Just going to sell one of these contracts because Zoom is pretty expensive. But I can sell this contract for well over $800 in premium. Very, very nice. And so the mid price for this contract is about $820 or so. So I'll come to $820 and see if I can get filled here. Confirm and send. Buying power effect is about 2,600 bucks. That's a little bit high, but still fine. So therefore, we'll go to send and see what happens here. And still no fills on this order, so just like Alibaba, we'll have to come back to the monitor tab and perhaps change my price a little bit here. So right there is my order. Limit price, 820 of course, but the mark price is 825, a bit higher than that, but again, still, I might have to come down a few more pennies. So we'll try 810 and see what happens here. Confirm and send, send. And there we go. Finally got filled and also price improved to 820. Awesome. So that's great. And then of course, final step is to create my GTC closing order. And here we go. Just going to buy back the one contract. And of course, I'll try and do so for half price. And half of 820 is 410. Lock in that price, make it a GTC order, confirm and send, send, all done with Zoom now. And so with that being said, I think I'm going to stop making new trades for today. I do want to keep my portfolio a little bit light this week because of course the holidays are coming up and I won't have too much time to be trading. So briefly, let's go ahead and just move my new positions to the right categories. So Alibaba is going to go to the strangle section. There we go. And then Zoom here is going to go to my naked put category right there. So there we go. I currently have 5 positions on: Nvidia, Square, Zoom, Alibaba, and Roku. And again, I think for right now, that's the way it's going to stay. Okay, today is Tuesday, December 21st, and we are seeing a very large reversal in the market today. So what I have pulled up here is SPY, and we'll zoom in a little bit. So SPY right now is up by over $7 at the moment, which is about 1.5%. So like I said, compared to yesterday, we are seeing a pretty massive reversal. So most stocks across the board today are rallying. And then also if we come to the VIX futures charts /VX, as to be expected, the VIX is down by a huge amount today as well. Right now down by about 7%. So this is very indicative of the relationship between implied volatility and the general market. As stocks climb higher, implied volatility tends to contract. Or in other words, fear and uncertainty goes out the window. And therefore, as a result of that, that causes option prices across the market to come down, to contract. And that's why if we come back to the monitor tab right now, as you can see, I'm having a really good day today. My portfolio is up by about $1,600, which I would say is mostly due to stocks rebounding, but also a large portion of these profits are also due to the fact that implied volatility is contracting across the board. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and take off a few positions a bit early and just book some of these profits. Normally, I probably would not do this. I would typically wait until my 50% profit target is reached. But also, I do have to keep in mind that I will be winding down this portfolio very, very soon. Right? If you've seen my previous live option trading videos, and of course this one as well, then you will have noticed this is a paper trading account. And that's because for the past few months here, I've been testing out a new strategy that I have been developing. And since I am very pleased with the results, that means come early next year, I'm going to be switching back to a real money account. So now if you take a look at all my current positions, I have 5 in total. Each one I could take off for some sort of profit. But of course, as you can see, some positions are up a lot more money than others. Right? For example, my Alibaba position here, this is a short strangle, right? 111 strike put option, 135 strike call. This position I'm only up overall by about $86. So still a long, long ways away from hitting my profit target. So I'm going to continue leaving this one on. But in the case of my Square position, this was a simple naked put, right? 155 strike put option. On this trade, I'm up about $205, which I believe is less than $100 away from my profit target. And so because of that fact, that's why I'm going to go ahead and take this one off right now. So if we come up here, I currently do have my GTC closing order already in place. Just going to go ahead and right click, cancel and replace this order, and I will adjust my price a little bit here. So also let me expand this tab here so I can see the actual bid and ask prices for this option. So bid price is $385, asking price is $410, so going right in between. Let's try and get filled at around $400 exactly. Confirm and send, and send. And there we go, just got filled at exactly $400. Awesome. And also, especially with this stock, let's come to the charts real quick here and take a look at what this stock has been doing today. So right now, Square is up by over $12. Of course, that's going to help a lot with my naked put position. And then also, like I was showing you, across the board for individual stocks, the implied volatility is coming down significantly as well. So this nice crush in the IV combined with a very nice up move in the stock price, those two things together have reduced the value of that put option to the point where here I could buy it back for a much lower price. So that's Square, and then we'll come back to the monitor tab. And also here, I'm going to take off my Roku short strangle. So this one I put on last week where I sold the 185 strike put option, also the 270 strike call option. As you can see right now, overall on this trade, I'm up by about 330 bucks or so. Initially, I was targeting to make around 500, but again, I've already made the majority of my profits here, and then also I'm only going to be trading in this particular paper trading account for about another week or so. So may as well go ahead and take this trade off the table. So same thing, we'll come up here and find my GTC closing order. There it is. Right click, cancel and replace. And then we'll come down here and simply adjust my price on this order. So the mark price for this strangle is about 740 bucks. I'll come up to maybe 745 and see if I can get filled here. Confirm and send and send. And there we go, just got filled at 739. Awesome. Cool, and so also in a very similar fashion with Square, if we come to the charts on Roku now, and let's zoom in a little bit here. So this stock has also moved up pretty significantly in the past few days. And that's a good thing because this strangle here was a bullish skewed strangle. It was skewed to the upside. And then also alongside that, same thing with Square, the implied volatility for Roku is also contracting by a huge amount today as well. So once again, those two things working together along with time decay have reduced the value of both of these contracts here to the point where I could buy them back for a much cheaper price and make over 300 bucks in profit. So there we go. Now at this point, I only have about 3 positions on in Nvidia, Zoom, and Alibaba. And that's because all 3 of these different positions still have a long ways to go to even get close to my profit target. So we'll just have to keep waiting here and see what happens. Okay, today is Wednesday, December 22nd, and just one thing I'm going to do here today, and that is I'm going to go ahead and take off my Nvidia trade for a nice little profit. So just as a reminder here, let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. For this trade, I am short a simple naked put option at the 267.5 strike. And so as you can see today, Nvidia is up again for the second day in a row, so that's definitely helping my position. And then also alongside that, if we come down here to the implied volatility chart, we are seeing a nice contraction in the IV as well. And this makes sense because again, as stocks climb higher, as they recover, you will typically see implied volatility come back down. And like I explained, this will also reduce the value of the put option I sold for Nvidia here. So with that said, we'll come back to the monitor tab and take a look at my current position on Nvidia. As you can see right now, I'm up about 100 bucks today alone, and overall on the trade, I'm up by about 370 bucks. Now, once again, I'm also a bit shy of my profit target. Ideally, I was trying to make around 500 bucks on this trade, but again, mostly because I'm trying to wind down this portfolio, I don't mind taking my profits off a little bit early here. So we'll come back up here and find my Nvidia closing order. There it is. Go ahead and right click and cancel and replace, and we'll just change the price down here. And then also let's go ahead and find the actual option on the option chain here. There it is. So bid price is about 670, asking price is 680, so right in between, 675. Let's see if I can get filled right here. Confirm and send, and send. And there we go, got filled at exactly 675. Awesome. Cool, so now that just leaves me with 2 more positions, one in Zoom, which unfortunately is not doing too well today. I'm down by about 170 bucks, but the stock still is above my put strike here, so nothing to do with this trade. And then also I still have my short strangle on with Alibaba. And this trade I am doing pretty well on so far. As you can see over here on the P&L open column, I'm up by just over 100 bucks, but still a long ways to go before I hit my profit target. Okay, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed those few clips there. And so now let's go over briefly my positions I took off this morning in Alibaba and also in Zoom here. And also before I do so, I just want to explain why I took off my positions this week instead of next week, which is actually the final week of the year. And to be quite honest, it's simply because I want to enjoy the last week of the year while I'm on vacation and not have to worry at all about trading. I think I've deserved 1 week off for the entire year. And then also because the following week, I will be spinning back up my live trading account and using this trading strategy for real with real money. And as I explained a few times in this video, that is the main reason why I've been winding down my portfolio here to begin with. So anyways, starting off first with Alibaba here, let's go ahead and pull up the calculator real quick, and we can figure out the final outcome of this trade here. So if you recall from one of those previous clips, I put on this position initially for a credit of $748. And then as you can see this morning, I bought back both contracts for a total debit of $670. So of course, still a long ways away from reaching my profit target, but I'm totally fine with that in this particular case. So therefore we subtract 670, and the net effect here is still a profit of 78 bucks. Can't complain about that. And then in regards to my Zoom trade, this was the only position this entire week that I took off for an actual loss. So you may also recall when I put on that position along with Alibaba, I sold this naked put option at the 187.5 strike for a total credit of $820. And then as you can see up here with this order, I bought the contract back for a total debit of $1,030, a little bit more. Now also I do know there are multiple Zoom orders here. I'll explain that in a second. This was actually a mistake that the thinkorswim platform caused. But coming back down here, we subtract 1,030, and therefore the actual outcome of this trade was a loss of $210. And then of course, if we add the $78 I made on Alibaba, the combined effect here with both of these trades is still a loss, but of course a much smaller loss at only $132. Totally fine. Of course, you can't win on every trade, so taking a very small loss here is no big deal. And then as I mentioned with these multiple Zoom orders here, when I went to go buy this contract back, for some reason, 2 orders got filled. Basically, I bought back 2 Zoom contracts and not just the one. And again, that was some sort of glitch on part of the thinkorswim software here. But that means after both of these orders got executed here, I was actually long a Zoom contract. And that's why I had to send in one more order to sell that contract, so that way I can actually get out of that long contract. But there you have it. This basically concludes my testing period for this new strategy I've been developing these past couple months. And of course, that's why all my live option trading videos up until this point have been with a paper money account here. So that way I can test out my new strategy without risking real money, of course. But like I mentioned earlier in this video, I am very pleased with the results, and I think I have most of the details ironed out at this point. And I will make a video soon that goes over my trading performance over these past 5 months of testing this new strategy here. So stay tuned for that. And so with that being said, that's going to conclude this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and please let me know your thoughts or if you have questions in the comment section below. And don't forget, if you want to take some very in-depth classes on options trading or stock market investing, then check out my Skillshare courses. Links in the description of this video. And finally, if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up, drop a comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I drop new videos every single week, and you don't want to miss out. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.